Hi there and welcome back. In this session we're going to further the amount of automation in the song. Right now we only have one automation clip, which is controlling the lead synth's filter cutoff frequency. And before I go any further, I just want to play it back to remind you of how the gradual curve of the automation affects the sound over time. So let's solo it and play from bar 57. So that curve allows the filter to gradually open up, and the next thing I want to do is apply the same sort of automation to the second synth that I made. And if you haven't already watched the automation section of level 1, I suggest going to do that now, as that's where we covered the entire basics of automation. So let's go ahead and open up the second synth part. So what I want to do now is get the filter cutoff parameter within Sytrus, and like before, just right click it to create an automation clip. So here it is. And I'll solo out the synth in the playlist along with the automation clip and play it from bar 17 to see how it currently sounds. I think it comes in a little too strong and suddenly, and one way of correcting that is by creating another gradual rise for the synth to fully introduce itself. So let's bring the automation point down to 0 at bar 17 and gradually bring it up to full value by the time it reaches bar 49 here, just before the breakdown. And now when we enter the breakdown, we want to have a dynamic shift in the song as things sort of wind down. And so from bar 49 to 57, let's bring the cutoff back down to 0 before gradually rising it back up to full again at the climax. And to wrap up this particular automation clip, let's leave it fully open until bar 97 and then gradually bring it back down to 0 at about bar 113. So I'll just create another point at 97 then. And then leave it down at 0 for the rest of the song. Before we move on to the key layer, let's link these two new additions to individual inserts on the mixer. So I'll take synth 2 and put it on insert 20. And the key layer just beside that. Now let's make some edits to the key layer on pattern 12. I want to begin by placing the pattern in a little bit earlier than before, so let's start it at bar 17 instead. In fact, I actually don't think I've placed it in here yet at all. Yeah, it's not here, so I'll just begin by placing it at bar 17. So over the course of the 16 bars, I think it would be good to gradually introduce this sound by using a high pass filter. This will move in the opposite direction of the filters that we've usually looked at so far, which has been mostly low pass filtering. So let's begin by adding a parametric EQ to the insert. And I'll begin by right clicking band 1 and changing the type to high pass and creating a steep slope of say 8. And I'll play the sound back and then we can bring the filter up to a point where we start to be unable to hear it. And I'll do that in the full context of the song. Now what I want to do is use the bandwidth parameter to create a slight boost at the cutoff point. This will allow us to better hear the effect that the filtering has as we sweep down through the frequencies. So I'll just turn the bandwidth wheel to the left to around 40%, and then I'll create an automation clip for the frequency itself. Okay, so let's start again at bar 17 and gradually begin curving the automation down so that it comes in smoothly. So these two clips will suffice for the time being, although we may want to do a little more if necessary when it comes to the mixing section. So next up we're going to be doing some final tweaks before we enter the mixing section, so I'll see you there.